I have loved getting to study through the book of Esther, and it has just amazed me to see. I have always, I guess, just kind of viewed Esther in this really Sunday school kind of way. And there is so much more to this story. And I'm so excited for you also to get to study through this as we go. So my first thing that I've learned, did you know that God is never once mentioned in this book? It is the only book of the Bible where God is not specifically mentioned, but yet it is one of the most beautiful depictions of God moving and working throughout the story the entire time. So that, first of all, has already just completely blown my mind and changed everything about the way that I've seen the story of Esther. So I want to start just by kind of giving you an overview of who are the players, who are the characters that we need to know. And there's a few. So we're going to start with, there's a king, of course. There's always a king in the Old Testament, right? King Xerxes. I don't know either. It's a really hard name to say, but we just know that he was the one who was in power. The Jews had been under captivity for a very long time by the Babylonians, and this is after that. So some of the Jews have gone back to their homeland, but some have stayed. And now this king is the king of Persia. So we've entered into kind of a whole new way of life and doing things. And this king, he has a wife. He has a queen, Queen Vashti. She doesn't make it very long in the story. It's actually pretty crazy. They ask her to do something that I think I would also say no to. It involves a crown and no clothes. So when she says no to this, she ends up no more a part of the story. It doesn't exactly tell us what happens. We just know that she's no longer the queen and he disposes of her. Fill in the blanks however you will with that. So what must happen next is we now have to find a new queen because we can't have a king without a queen. We all know who really runs these countries, right? So what I always heard, the Sunday school version, again, if you will, is that we had a beauty pageant where all the beautiful women from the land came before the king. If you read a little more in depth into this, it was not a beauty pageant, and there was actually a lot of not great things that were being asked of these women. I'm going to leave that up to you to study a little bit more. Just know that even though God is not mentioned, we see how specifically Esther is chosen. And I want to read just one verse because you're not going to be surprised by this. You've heard this one too. But this is where we always hear this famous line, "And who knows, Esther, whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this." So obviously we know that God has a plan for her, that there's a reason that she's to be there, and the only person that she really has on her side throughout this whole thing is this uncle, Mordecai. He is like a father figure to her. He took her in when she had no more family. So he is there kind of in the background the whole time. He finds out there's a villain. There's got to be a villain in every story. Haman, he comes in, super powerful man, wants to have his way, and Mordecai overhears a plot where he wants to kill the king. Mordecai takes this to Esther. Esther takes it to her now husband, because remember, she was chosen from the beauty pageant. And through that, God works so that Mordecai and Esther are shown favor. And because of their obedience and their persistence and taking the next right step, even when it was scary, even when it didn't feel maybe comfortable, they still did what they knew they needed to do. And through that, God's people were delivered yet again. And I love that even to this day, there is a festival that the Jewish people, they celebrate every year called Purim. Another really hard word to say, not necessarily natural coming out of our mouths in English, but they celebrate this every year in honor of Esther's obedience and therefore their deliverance. And so I just love this so much. It's a story that we can look to. We can be inspired in knowing that no matter what we've done in our past, I don't believe that Esther necessarily came into this situation in all the purest of ways. When you go back and really look into that beauty pageant, you're going to see what I mean. And even still, God used her in an incredible way. So know that no matter what your past is, God can and He will use you. It's just up to us to be obedient and to do the next right thing. So I'm excited for you to join in with us. Please jump in, study this, go a little bit deeper. Don't just take the Sunday school version this time, and I'd love to hear what you learn.